Let's talk to her.
Just a moment.
The old woman turns back to the cafeteria manager. She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps pulling at the frayed edges of her blanket.
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, Mum.
The cafeteria manager appears genuinely apologetic.
It's fine. I understand. Thank you anyway.
She turns
I'm glad to see you again, dear.
Okay, thanks. The lady is distressed. Perhaps something more upbeat might cheer her up. That's... Howdy, Lena! What's kicking?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working.
A faint smile tells you she appreciates the effort, but at the moment her mind is on more serious matters.
The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast, and Gary's phone is dead too.
Wait, what's wrong with the phone line?
The manager was vague about it.
She frowns. Why would he be vague about phone problems? There's something to look into later. Ask Garth, maybe. Why do you need to use the phone anyway?
To let the young woman who is house sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and Gary were supposed to be back on Monday night, but they're still missing and I haven't heard from them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
A little missing persons puzzle might be just the thing to take your mind off the hangover. You hear that? Someone's missing. There could be a foul play afoot. I love missing persons cases. That's right. Now skip the foreplay. Time to dive into the dark alleys. Start shaking down the usual suspects. You know, legwork. Okay, I'll bite. Has your husband gone missing before?
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
A cold breeze hisses through the dense thicket of reeds. Something sweet in the somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine. When you look around, you're still in the whirling in the rags.
But you have more important things to worry about.
She glances out the window toward the bay. More important than missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something interesting. What is this expedition your husband was on? Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant, Gary, are studying an extremely rare species of insect. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast, across the waterlock, to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. She sighs. What could be keeping them? Wait, who is this Gary person? Do you trust him? She smiles. Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day. Are they in a rough neighborhood? There's a nameless old fishing village nearby, but I've never had any trouble there before. She stops, then continues, worried. There's a lot of crime around here, isn't there? I can't say it's the best part of town, but I wouldn't worry too much about a pair of grown men traveling together. The lieutenant doesn't want to agitate the woman. Do it. Find her husband. This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect. Yeah, sure. Some fringe science is exactly what's needed right now. Spice up that vanilla murder investigation. This sounds like police business. I'll help you find your husband. Are you sure we have time to go chasing after buck hunters just now? The lieutenant tilts his head toward the vigilantes in the cafeteria. I did suggest we play it cool, but... I've got a premonition that this missing scientist is connected to our main case. He sighs. I sincerely doubt it. Still, I suppose it won't hurt to keep an eye out. Oh, thank you, officer. Truly. I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel. So, your husband is some kind of scientist? Oh, yes, she says with a pinch of pride. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise. What is cryptozoology? It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends. The lieutenant sounds unimpressed. That's one opinion, yes, and people are entitled to their opinions. She used to playing off such insults casually, but they still affect her. My apologies, ma'am. I do not mean to undermine your hobby. It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species, called cryptids, oh boy, we're gonna be looking for Bigfoot, is difficult and often thankless, and frankly many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research. The quality of research at Revonholian universities has been on the decline, but you doubt there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite. She is completely internalizing her husband's struggles. They are her own. Maybe you can convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids, yes. Sometimes, the most charming thing you can do is be reasonable in your request. Could you tell me about just one interesting cryptid? I suppose you could use a break and I could use a distraction. The lieutenant throws you one of his looks. One cryptid, like you said, one. This can turn into some kind of cryptic extravaganza. We have things to do. Cryptic extravaganza? I like the sound of that. And I don't. Just one. Or he'll be disappointed in you. Whoa, tough choice there. What's the biggest cryptid? That would be the giant of Kokonur, she says as if it's common knowledge. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren waste. Wait, what do you mean all light? A mirage or a psychogenous luminescence. She does not elaborate the nature of this luminescence further. And just how big is it? No one knows for sure. It's like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. Is it dangerous? The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a Fata Morgana. That's a visual novel I have to play. Others, a Fata Unimaginable. Hui! The lieutenant interjects. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage. That's what makes it so peculiar, a species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes. Great. This is great shit. You need more. Gravity anomaly? Digging it. Digging this parascientific stuff right here. What's the tiniest cryptid? The lieutenant leans in. Hey, you promised you don't ask about one cryptid. But Kim, don't you want to hear about another cryptid too? The lieutenant pauses thoughtfully. Something in him breaks. Fuck it. Let's have more cryptids. She smiles. Well, the smallest cryptid is the Cryobacter catlensis, an unicellular bacterium. It was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Katla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Kathleen Mijanot some 70 years ago. What's so special about it? The bacterial colony Mijanot found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly from before recorded history. Mijanot disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. You mean there's an immortal geologist wandering the world? Yes, she's quite mad too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also becoming increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream. What is the most dangerous cryptid? The gnome of Jeroma. She pauses for effect. The gnome of Jeroma? That sounds terrifying. Oh yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolves organic tissue. What did this cryptid look like? It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead, an ungainly little thing, quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. She looks at you, her voice grave suddenly. It still took the gnome of Jerome an entire day to die. If the body of the creature was found, the lieutenant can't help himself, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very lethal species? Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself, of course. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science, she says, mostly to herself. Alas! Always alas! And then it was gone. Isn't that overtly convenient? No, it was a perfectly good explanation. Stop being so skeptical. Sure, a perfectly good explanation. It dissolves in its own venom. Go on then, ask about more gnomes or whatever. Are there any invisible cryptids? What an interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are. Of course, all fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them. Shush, Kim, she's gonna tell me about the invisible cryptid. What is it? It's the Kodomamadagu. The woman creates glasses, what the fuck. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The Kodomamama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. Kodomamadagu can also be translated as whispered light and low. Could it be here? Right now? It could be, she says calmly. As I said, it could be everywhere. They wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights. Maybe it's predatory. What if it's predatory? It's not, don't worry. If it were predatory, we would have found it by the damage it inflicts. I wouldn't be so sure. What if the damage is also invisible? A whisper light and low. Her eyes light up behind her glasses. Yes, that's another translation. They're both quite lovely, aren't they? Although the low part is a little ironic, the Kodomamadagu makes, or rather is, such a high-pitched sound that other animals, including humans, can hear it. It could be everywhere, all the time, and we wouldn't know. The lieutenant looks at her skeptically. Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound? Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves, but there is no evidence to support this theory. What evidence is there of this animal being a sound? Plenty. It's the evidence that leads to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Aerobageta ornithologists, that is scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sound outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings, they had made it in the foothills of the mountain range. They noticed certain anomalies, surprise gaming mechanics, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. Songbirds. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest-pitched bat calls. She transforms when speaking about her strange animals into a confident woman. They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Kodomamadagu, after the Perkinesian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent. Wow! They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among the individual birds, and she smiles, even began to name some of them. Name them? Sequester, Time, Just Queen, she nods. Those are but some of the Mamadagu they fought individually. Why is the Mamadagu so afraid of us? That is a sad story, she frowns. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction. Extinction? She nods gravely. They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound, so they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mama Dakus. What happened when a sound wave meets another sound wave with the same frequency, dear? This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at explaining things. Psst, they cancel each other out. You have no clue because you're not a dweeb. They cancel each other out. Exactly. And these states were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wipe out most of the population. Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth. After that, the corpse killer appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in EA, but they've been a few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Kodo Mamadaku population anywhere. Of course, a common trait in these disappearances is infalsibilities. He concedes. I like the story though, man. I'm glad you did, dear. She seems genuinely glad. Interesting. What about... She smiles gently. What about what? This has been educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else. Of course, dear. Tell me more about Morel. Looks, character, your relationship. Oh, dear, I'm not sure where to begin. What does your husband look like? Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious like a small boy's, and his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle. You can't go around Ravenhollow feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband, you need more concrete information. It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world. Let's try again. Why don't you try describing him as you would one of your cryptids? Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has a longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed, you might say wild even. The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description. One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds. You know, just in case. How long have you been married? We've been celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. The smile is soft. Not the most numerical satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestone even more, somehow. How did the two of you meet? Via a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he just divorced. We hit it off, and well, here we are. She smiles wistfully. She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later. I think I have all the information I need. Let's move on. I hope I've been useful. Tell me about this rare insect your husband is looking for. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, she catches herself, but I shouldn't bore you with etymological miniature. The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance. Yeah, you're right. I don't have time for insect facts right now. Let's talk about something else. Of course, dear. About your pen. I hope you were able to pound that old trinket. I decided not to pawn it. You should have it back. Oh, thank you, dear. I confess. I'm glad to see it again. Even the lieutenant seems happy with this turn of events. Now, what else, sweetie? I begged money yesterday. I really like to hear... No, that's off now, ma'am. Hey, dude.
Can I help you?
About my bill for tonight. Got 20 real? I don't have, not yet. I have to pawn off some stuff. Alright, we're gonna do a... Let's go in the kitchen. The dishes are drying. Tomatoes are so tiny sliced you can see through them. A tin man is smoking below an exhausted hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the warning's cook. As you step in, he nods towards the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Gorasi and Quebec. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Gorasi Quebec, please. It's not funny. Ah, Gorasi, I have some questions to ask. The man puts his head down and replies something, his left hand drawing axe in the air. Oh boy. By the way, we speak Ravenholian in Ravenho. Speak Ravenholian, that terrorizes his eyebrows. This man is a foreigner! We speak Suresni. There's no such thing as Ravenholian language, he says. But don't worry, your message remained clear. The cook is still smoking, ash falling from between his fingers. His hands are large and clean. Good thing he didn't understand words of your stupidity, he concludes. You got some impressive pots here. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sound of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove. I don't think I need anything else. Stay masculine! Huh. What's with this door? You see a heavy steel door with promising dimple lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to the touch. The stainless steel is door flush with its frame on every side. Old cobalt paint, rough on the figures. 40, 50 years since this was painted. Maybe. It leads to a side building adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined, whatever is behind it must be older. The door does not budge. A challenge. The steel doesn't even tremble. Now you're hanging from the handle. The door remains immobile. Okay. It was a challenge and you failed. What now, loser? I wonder where this leads. You do? The lieutenant regards you with patient skepticism. It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? The winch outside in the backyard, remember? No? Your fingers do. I'm drawn to the cobalt blue. It is quite pretty. I suppose we could look into it as a side investigation. It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it. No, the door is a mega investigation. I'm calling it Behind the Blue Door. It's hardly worth a title. He looks at the door. Then you. Anyway, Garth is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager. Right, let's go find out the mystery of the blue door.
Can I help you?
There. Guard, I saw a sign that says I couldn't go into the kitchen. Why can't I go into the kitchen? Well, are you a cook now? That's none of your business. Maybe I am a cook. You're not. You're a menace. He gets a hold of himself. Fine, okay, the kitchen is closed until 1 because the real cook is working. You can snoop around after that, if you must. So, the phone line is dead. Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it. Shakes his head and adds, losers. Is it true that there was foul play? He wrinkles his nose. Who told you that? I would never disclose my sources. That would be dishonorable. Fine, yeah. It looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but I don't know if it's so at all related. Plenty of assholes around here who aren't murderers. He's exhausted from years of dealing with the assholes. That's why he's trying so hard not to be one too. If you do find out who cut the line though, let me know so I can forward them the repair bill. There's a mysterious blue steel door in the back of the kitchen. Oh yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it, it's just a door, he shrugs. Do you know what's behind it? Do you have... No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just the Frida warehouse, probably. Wondering about it is of course exactly what he's been doing for 10 years. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust. He runs his fingers across the counter to check for dirt. He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing. I think you'd like to know what's back there. Fine, okay, a little, he shrugs. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that. Okay. Some kind of superstar. Complete. Mm-hmm. Nice. Let's unlock this here. Oh, I can't. Okay. Right, bypass these guys. Who's this?
Let me handle this.
You seem a little different today. Less hospitable.
You are far from home, Lieutenant. This isn't a district known for its love of self-proclaimed militiamen.
You're not a gardener.
That's right. I'm not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dockworkers Union.
You're right, Lieutenant. She did seem friendlier sitting on that corner. Not a muff in her face, but her eyes trace yours, stern and perceptive.
You are looking for Titus Hardy, who you think has information on the murder the RCM is investigating. You want to interview him. That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong-arming, nothing official. The District of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her. How is that assigned cleanup going, huh? Fuck the police and all that? She said she would clean it. I guess you're not a winner after all. She shrugs, almost no reaction. It's in there. She's just stone waning. The obscene sign. You said you would clean it. This is about your alcoholism, isn't it? People talk. She squints. I have no patience for it, or pity. A cheap deflection, but brutal. This did not have the effect you desire, but it did something. What's your role in all this? Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. She crosses her arms. Do you have hearing problems? What if I want to talk to you, not Titus? What you want is an of significance, officer. Don't test your authority in Martinez. You're no one. I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean you have to say it. You will not lose out on anything good by not saying it. What are you going to do to me? The lieutenant is not satisfied with the approach. What are we going to do to you? She starts laughing. It's a cold laughter, devoid of joy. You were specifically asked not to say that, and then you said it anyway, you junior delinquent, but you still did. The union isn't going to do anything to you. It's not a crime syndicate. It's a labor organization. A gruff hump from the table. Goddamn right it is. If anything, it's the RCM who do things to people. She shakes her head. But we digress. Why are you so aggressive? Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers. So you were spying on us. Now you represent murder suspects. Just dock workers. Listen, you Morlantian lackeys. You're a mob enforcing the unlawful privatization of Ravenhall. 20 fat men in the accident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards. Fuck yeah! The tall broad-shouldered man takes a sip of his beer. So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. The world needs a financial buffer zone, no need to get emotional. No one is emotional here, her expression stiffens further. Do your job, ask your questions, then leave. I should talk to Titus then. But later. Hey, wait. What about this guy? I stole his shit. Indeed it is. Alright, let's go out. Tulip stew. see several packaged raincoats fill the low shelf beneath a display of croissants in juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent except for the big Fried slogan on the back. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take a notice. No need to worry about knocking over display. I can steal it. What is that? What is what? The girl leans over the counter to see what you're referring. It's a raincoat? If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real. She taps on the glass counter. The raincoats patiently await purchase. Her attention is drawn to the raincoat. Stealing one, a detective will now be more difficult. I'm not gonna steal one. Let's buy one. Here you go. The clerk removes the garment from the lower shelf and hands it over. This will keep you nice and warm out there. Good choice, if a bit goofy looking. Ha. Yeah, he's a germaphobe, so he's gonna use gloves.
Welcome to Fripp. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
She returns to her magazine. What's the magazine she's reading? Before we go on, what is this Fritte?
I don't know. Fripp?
And what is Frit?
A 7 to 11 grocery store.
Why is it written with 3 T's?
I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
The story goes that normal Frit with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Rutherford, was already taken. So when Frit Retail Incorporated grew into a multinational corporation, they had to add an extra letter to avoid trademark infringement. What magazine are you reading?
You mean this?
She looks at the cover, boasting a colorful photo of 2 girls kissing.
This is Pop Stars. It's got like famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Ah man. Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. I see what you did there. This speaks to you. Forget about all that. What is this fashion police feature?
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
Who's the numero uno guy in there right now? And does he look like this? Her lazy eyes scan up and down your body, assessing the situation.
No, I don't think so.
We are not the fashion police.
Kim
We're
looks
the
at you.
real police.
Hang on.
You mean this? This is Pop
Can I-
Stars.
yes,
It's got
I can.
like famous
Nice.
people in it. It's not for sale.
I approve of this. Very futuristic. She pops her raspberry flavored bubblegum and nods. Her shoulder tense. Shuffles back only slightly. Bewilderment and repulsion root her in place. The then frowns at you before turning to the clerk with an apologetic harsh smile. Let's see the other one.
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got like
Stupid famous people.
Yeah, they're kind of boring, but you know.
She never finishes her sentence. Let's proceed. I have some questions for you.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but
She puts down the magazine. Does Frit have a warehouse in the back of the whirling racks? A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does. Come on, give me something to work with here. She looks up from under her brow. Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here, okay? She turns back to her magazine without waiting for you to respond. Can you tell me anything about the dead body? I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so... Do you know the man who died? Not really. Not really? Does it mean you knew him a little? No, I didn't know him at all. How long has he been there? I don't know. Really long? What do you think happened? I don't know. No need to worry. The lieutenant's voice is soothing and professional. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay? Okay, she scratches her nose. Thank you for your help. She brushes a strand of hair off her face and tries to return to the magazine. What's this? The tear machine stands in the corner and sign says 1 bottle 10 cents. What is this machine? The clerk looks up out of her magazine. Oh, that's the tear machine. Yes, but what is it? She knits her brow, confused. It's a machine for tear, you know. You find tear outside, like bottles or whatever, and put it in the machine. Then it gives you money. Cool. Let's do this swindle. This tear swindle. And I see. And how do I pick up tear for the tear machine? We need a bag, I guess. We used to have some, but we gave them all out, so... She shrugs awkwardly. Feel free to use it if you find a bag, though. I'm sure there's some out there. She points outside. Somewhere. Ah. A new toad. Complete. Nice. "0% of communism has been built. Evil child murdering billionaire still rule the world with a shit-eating grin. All he has managed to do is make himself sad. He's starting to suspect Krasmazov fucked him over personally with his socio-economic theory. It has, however, made him into a very, very smart boy with something like a university degree in truth. Instead of building communism, he now builds a precise model of his grotesque, duplicitous world. Ah, man, I want to build communism." Hang on, I didn't read the solution to this. "They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with very legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say. To all this you say, fuck off and die," in a cool voice. "You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets, and you're the first one." Nice. Still don't know where the place where I can sell his stuff is. Let's go in the back. Oh, there's a lady upstairs. Connor's little shit show. Wow, I'll go all the way around here. What the hell? How does that make any sense? Where's this guy?
Bastards! We have a right to work!
A man yells towards the harbor gates. His voice is the loudest of the lot, and oddly screechy for a man his size. "I'm the law!"
Yes, people get that you are the law. You really don't have to keep saying it.
Pull up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
The broad-shouldered alpha male turns to you. He's a full head taller than everybody else here.
Here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down?
Yes.
Ha! Couldn't handle us. A cause gives the workers strength, gives them power. We have a right to work. Besides, we're not that different. It helps the people see us talking. Cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
What kind of courage are we talking about?
Rights of people, rights of workers to have gainful employment, to make a salary and feed their families.
His manners of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases. I don't think I have chosen any sides yet.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the right to work. Right to work.
Regardless, I have some questions for you.
Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like why we're not allowed to make a living here. Shame on you! We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
He points his fingers at the man sitting on the railing.
So do we, scab.
The loitering man hollers in return. Who are all these strike breakers? Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporation interests. The man runs a hand through his steadily graying military haircut. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let us letting those who do want to work. I have a question. The lieutenant looks him in the eye. Why do all these men follow your leadership? You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No, they follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were, starts bellowing, given a job to do. What is a strike? And a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decides to block the honest work for other people. He shifts uncomfortably in his workers' overalls. What do the strikers want? Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we, he raises his fist and starts shouting again, have the right to work! When the man moves around, you perceive some serious abs underneath his tight-fitting shirt. This man is in shape. There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting. Ill-fitting? What does that mean? His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. You wearing new clothes? He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where's he from. Okay, I gotta ask. Where exactly are you from? What's it to you? Deep-set suspicion drips from every syllable. Curiosity, going to figure out their strike mess. Big mess, caused by union greed. He shoots you a very distrustful look. But I only fight for the right of people. Rights of people, not right people. Every once in a while, it's like you can see a glimpse of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch, or you just might be paranoid. I already got that. I'm interested in your background. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs. Heavy lifting, cargo, hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. A monstrous shadow high above the fire taps of the domain. The 881 motorway running over this district of Jamrock. Concrete pillars rises up from the midst of the dilapidated wooden houses. On the horizon, barely visible, the hazy machinery of the harbor. Shudder and breathe on your hands. Life in the domain is even worse off than in Martinez. The cold air is stiff from the fumes of motor carriages and lorries roaring overhead. Below, broken down, battered people mill on the dusty streets with no purpose. Yet amongst them, there's no sign of this man. Nowhere. You're not from the domain. Yeah, the man grunts. What makes you say that? No one there knows you. The beefy man snorts and spits on the ground. They know me. That's bullshit. He turns his attention back to the arbor gates. What exactly is your goal here? You are promised work. He points at the gates. You'll be there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates. And you are unable to breach the entrance? Main gate's locked. It will take heavy ordnance to bust it open. You could try to get in through the secretary's office. He points up the stairs. Door's locked. The guard's blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mesquite punkhead either. He points at the dock worker idling on the staircase. I mean heat measurer or whatever he is. Wait, head measurer? Huge Siamese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The access panel is right behind him. How bad could one guy be? You seem capable. Bad, the man glares at you. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position and he's trained. I don't know how Union has trained killer up there, but that one's no joke, and my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters. Have you considered storming in, like all of you? Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure of them plenty of criminal shit they have that. That look. It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway. No, they will give up eventually, or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded, then we charge. The man rubs his jaw. Perfect, lightly bearded square wedge. I'm just going to leave now. Okay. What about this guy?
Scab?
Asks a man with jolly eyes tilting his head. You're hazy on the notion of scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with flask he reaches for from time to time. Or did he just call you a fag? Oh no, not this again. You just got away from that fucking kid. What the fuck? No, I don't want to deal with this again. Did you just call me a...
No, I said scab.
What exactly is a scab?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
Hold on. Where did they all come from?
Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
You don't seem to like them much.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess, scared maybe. But scared of what? Of who?
He looks at the mash, squinting his eyes if trying to ascertain what they're scared of.
Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Have you tried talking to them?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
His name is Call Me Manana. Big guy. He means the leader of the scabs. Yeah, I'm a scab. Poor and downtrodden. Right to work.
Good one, officer. Don't worry, we here have solidarity with the RCA. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money.
He chuckles, then realizes. Psst, show him your stolen card. Now has arrived the perfect moment.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here, to the wild north? Come to see the strife?
Despite what I just said, I'm actually a worker like you guys. Ben looks at the colorful piece of plastic, then at you, then back at the car, then at you again. He looks at his flags for a moment. But that's not you, officer. It's an old picture. From back when you were not a cop, but a heavy-set, dark-skinned dock worker named Santiago John. Yes. Highly unlikely. I've known John for several years now. Also, you told me you're a cop, remember? How did you get your shift card? Now you're in a mess. The time had not arrived. Sorry. It was like a sign. The wind deposited it before my feet. I feel a closeness to this person. Yes, you're not sorry. The city has a way of pairing souls. John's been out drinking himself blind. You should be more careful that Johannes... Can I have the card? No, it will prove useful still. Believe your teething fingers. No, I need to continue my undercover infiltration of this compound. Otherwise, it is as if I just stole the car for no reason. Oh, okay, good luck with that. He tips his belly. So what do you need? I'm gonna beg you for money again. I'm a bit short on money right now. Can you give me some of it? Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out. He flips the coin towards you. Oh boy. The coin lands in your hand as if it had always belonged there. The swallow returns. Appreciate it. Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to, towards the protesters. The winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing though. Every little bit helps, Always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs. He looks at them in disbelief. I need to get past the gates and speak with your boss. Oh, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Everett? You might have information about a killing that took place behind the hostel. Everett's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, aye. Doesn't often dole it out though, but sure, why not? Does this mean you can let me through the gate? I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. He takes a swig and points up the stair with his flask. The passage grants itself. You need the jolliness. He suddenly seems doubtful. It's so simple. Why did the scab leader warn you of the guards blocking the way? That simple? I just walk in? Aye. Walk right past the measure head and go in. Past measure head? Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Siemeni supremacist there. Points to the bridge above the gates. Walk right past him. Right. And then press the button to unlock the door. And then go past him again. Okay. And you enter Harvard through the office. Está. You're saying it actually is quite difficult. Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure Hess in a physical confrontation, or you could convert him to his seemingly supremacist worldview. He strokes his mustache. Maybe it actually is completely impossible. Has anyone here ever bested him in a physical confrontation? Not yet, no. He fixes his eyes on you, evaluating your prowess. He's incredibly strong. Nothing a couple of solid hooks from Dexter and Sinister won't fix it. Has any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview? Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition. Got it. Another thing. Sure, the man whistles a jaunty tune, the wind rustling his whiskers. Nice talk. Gotta get moving.